Hey turnips, so today we'll be learning how to make this delicious inspired by Baked by Melissa. It's a cupcake shop in New York City and they're really known for their cute small little cupcakes. And these cupcakes are going to be salted caramel and sweetened condensed milk. So without further ado, let's get started. So I just measured out my all-purpose flour and then now we are going to add in our baking soda. So next off, we are going to add in a pinch of salt. You guys can use any salt. I decided to use sea salt, but if you have regular salt, that will work just as fine. Now we are just going to give our dry ingredients a quick mix with our spoon, just to make sure that all the dry ingredients are well incorporated together, so there are no parts of it where there's more salt or less salt, and just makes it more evenly distributed as well. So just after giving it a good mix, we are going to sift our dry ingredients onto our sifter right here as shown. And since I don't have the regular cake sifter, it's going to be slightly different. This sifter will work just as fine as regular cake sifter, and we're just going to sift it so that it breaks up all the big pieces of flour and dry ingredients. And this also definitely adds in helping you distribute your dry ingredients well. So moving on to our wet ingredients, we are going to add in our stick of butter. And for this episode, I have my best friend Victoria helping me out, and she's the one with the blue navy nails, and navy is her favorite color. So shout out and thanks to Victoria, and she's adding in the granulated sugar right here. So I left my butter out in room temperature for a while, so it's relatively soft. And you guys could just break it out into small pieces with your wooden spatula as shown right here. Just keep on mashing your butter and your granulated sugar together until it looks like mashed potatoes. It should be relatively smooth and creamy. There's definitely a noticeable difference and you can see that it's clumping together, so you're almost there. Just keep on mixing. After reaching a scalloped mashed potato consistency, we are ready to use our mixer. And if you guys do not have a mixer, that's perfectly fine. You guys can mix it by hand and it will work great. And right here I have Victoria adding our egg. At this point, we are just going to keep on mixing until it's all smooth. And once we have reached a really beautiful creamy consistency, we are going to add in our dry ingredients, which consists of our sifted flour with baking soda and salt. And by adding flour a little bit by a little bit at a time, it makes our batter more evenly distributed. At this point, we are going to add in our single pour coffee mix. You guys can use any other coffee mix like Starbucks VIA or espresso powder. That would work just as fine. And I just want my cupcake to have a little bit more of a coffee flavor, and caffeine is definitely a nice touch to up my cupcakes. So if you guys never had that, definitely give it a try. So the next step is optional. I'm going to add in food coloring. I'm going to add in a splash of red, yellow, and blue. And it's just going to give that a nice beautiful brown color to mimic the coffee flavor and the coffee color. It's not exactly the most noticeable change in color, but I think definitely if you want a different color, go for whatever color you would like. At this point, you're going to take out your cupcake pan and you guys are going to spray it with the non-stick cooking spray so that the batter does not stick to the pan. Initially, I was trying to go for that iconic Baked by Melissa cupcake look so that it's a small cupcake without the cupcake liners. But now that I'm looking at hindsight, I should have used cupcake liners because by piping the batter directly onto the pan, the rim of the cupcake gets hardened a bit, so it gets cooked more. And I'm not sure that's the perfect texture that you guys are looking for. So I think I strongly recommend definitely lining up your cupcake pan with cupcake liners. And of course, if you guys insist on having that iconic Baked by Melissa cupcake look, you guys could just simply remove the cupcake liners from your cupcakes at the very end. Moving on to our frosting, we go add in a stick of butter as before, and now we are going to add in our confectioner sugar. This step is very similar to my Baymax cupcake recipe, so check that out as well. For this step, just keep on mixing your butter and confectioner sugar together until it's well combined. Once you notice that your cupcake frosting batter has been kind of dry, it means that it's a good time to start adding your whole milk. And definitely use whole milk over other milk so that it has a creamier texture, and it definitely helps. And now you could definitely see a change in consistency right here. And then now we are going to add in our caramel syrup. I got these caramel syrup from Hershey's, so you guys could get it from your local supermarket. It's not too hard to find, and it definitely gives your frosting a nice tinge of caramel flavor to it. Another iconic look about Baked by Melissa cupcakes is that in the middle it has a delicious filling. So in order to create that filling and that space, we are going to use the tip of a piping bag, the plastic tip, and we're going to do a small little circle swirl around it so that we remove the centerpiece as shown right here. And then at this point we are ready to pour our filling into the middle, and it's really simple and easy to remove the middle part. So once we have removed the center part of the cupcake, we are ready to piping onto our filling. So I'm just going to use our syrup that I used earlier, the caramel syrup, and just pour it onto the cupcake so that when you bite into the cupcake, there's a nice splash of caramel flavor to it. And if you guys really want to take this cupcake to another level, you guys can also insert caramel cubes into the center of the cupcake so that when you bite into it, there's a nice chunky cube of caramel. And to really seal the hole in the middle of the cupcakes, we are going to add in our cream cheese that has already been mixed with our granulated sugar, so that's very smooth and creamy and very delicious. And it's just going to make a nice texture and adding another layer to your flavors. Now moving on to our next step, we are going to use our frosting batter that we created earlier, and we're just going to pipe a ring around the top of the cupcake. And we will pipe it 2 times so that there's a nice height to your ring so that we can add in a small delicious filling at the very top. And of course a drizzle of caramel. And I know a lot of you guys are not familiar with piping, so here's a side view to make my instructions more clear, and hopefully you guys can really enjoy and see the beautiful texture of the frosting and just adding that caramel at the right end. As you guys have seen earlier, by having the caramel syrup poured from the bottle, it's kind of messy, so one way to get around it is to pour your syrup onto a small little beaker or a container, and then you guys can just use a syringe and just like suction it in and suction it out as shown right here. At this point, I sprinkle flakes of sea salt on top so that it has a nice salted caramel flavor to it. And then for this next one, it's going to be a sweetened condensed milk cupcake. And just like similar to before, we are going to add in our filling, caramel filling, and then we're going to pipe in with our cream cheese filling at the very top to seal the top. And then we're going to pipe in our frosting, and of course to seal the deal, we are going to pipe in our sweetened condensed milk at the very top. And that's pretty much it. Here's your sweetened condensed milk cupcake and your salted caramel cupcake inspired by Baked by Melissa. And thank you and shout out for Victoria for helping me out with this video. It was a pleasure and I had a lot of fun making this cupcake, so definitely give this cupcake a try. And if you guys like what I did, hit that subscribe button, and for more fun sweet baking adventures, subscribe to me now. And until next time, bye!